listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. We are continuing our process of channeling the planets, and in this show, we'll look at Mars. Mars rules Aries, but even if you don't have Aries in your natal chart, you can use Mars energy to get started on a project or task, especially one that you're resisting. It's important energy to have at your disposal all the time. There are also some surprises about Mars and Mars energy that maybe you haven't heard yet. This is important information to know. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, we've been looking at the planet of Mars and the Mars energy, well, basically all weekend, actually for a week. What is the most important concept about Mars energy?
It's how to use it.
Oh, okay.
The truth is, and maybe this is my answer, but I keep looking at it, and I don't get a lot of information.
Neither do I, but I have an answer for that, because when I did look at it, what I see is it has a layer over the top of everything that's on the inside, and it's trying to protect itself in its way, because there has been so much drama and trauma around the planet itself and even on the planet.
Well, and I came up with something similar because it does have a much more liquid core than Earth does.
Yes.
And they've made those measurements, and I see that as more sensitivity and I don't know if emotionality is the right word,
or
but
protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like someone who's afraid and they get angry or they get aggressive. But the truth is, underneath they're afraid or they're vulnerable.
In other words, and they don't want to show you that.
Yes.
If it was a person, but that's exactly what I see about the planet itself. Something, and I know that they don't know, they're trying to find out, but something truly, what it feels like to me is that there was a form of a war that I'm going to say changed the surface of the planet itself.
And we've always known that in terms of what we call star seeds, which are energies from other planets, and we'll talk about that another time. We've talked about that in the past, but what I see about Mars is that first of all, I think the most beneficial, because we did the same thing. Basically, we started looking at it. We watched some. When we channel the planets, we don't read up on the astrology. What we do is
we read a little bit, yes.
But what we read is astronomy and the scientific studies or information that they have about the planet, and then we change those characteristics into metaphors, and that's what helps us understand how the planet feels, quote unquote.
Right. In other words, we use our intuition to look at this.
Right. And to use and to understand its personality.
Exactly.
So when you do that, when you've converted it to an energy and a personality, then you can use the energy.
Yes.
And
because when you have an understanding of what that energy is, you can see benefits to it.
Yes. And you can use it for yourself.
Correct.
I mean, this is completely, for years, I've known about astrology and studied astrology um, probably longer than doing the ecosystem approach. It must be 40 years now.
Okay.
And it's not that I'm that good at it. And frankly, I don't even gravitate toward the technical information about astrology,
Okay.
because to me, it doesn't give you the information that I want from an energy standpoint.
That not only you can use and I can use, but we can help other people use.
Exactly. In fact, at some point, it becomes almost, I would say, I would use the word obtuse.
Okay.
Which is a fancy word for really confusing. Because the more you study it, it's like it becomes it's so detailed, and well, this is in this case, but this is in this case, and these things, you have this aspect, but that conflicts with this aspect, and it just it becomes unusable. However, when you take them very simply, you look at your natal chart, you look at the planets in your natal chart, and kind of what they signify, thank you, and what houses they're in. Sometimes that's helpful.
Yes.
Then you can say, okay, these are the energies that are acting upon me. For example, I have an Aries rising, or my ascending sign is an Aries.
Okay.
But I've never acted very Aries-like. Now, I do like to get things started. I can be really aggressive. When little old ladies get in my way at the grocery store, I would, I have no.
He wants to run over them with the cart.
I want to run over them, but I don't.
He doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't. I've never seen him do it anyway.
One of the things that frustrates me more than anything is when I'm trying to do something and I'm blocked.
And things get in your way.
And I can get aggressive when that happens. So that's my Aries. And I see that now, but it's just, for the most part, my Enneagram 6, which has overridden my natural proclivities in a way.
Very good.
And that's not natural.
Yeah.
This is, I don't want to change the subject, but again, your Enneagram type is negative energy. So if your Enneagram type is in conflict with your astrology, you need to clear those Enneagram traits.
Remove them is what he's talking about.
Remove them, and then let that natural part of you come through.
That's correct.
So, okay, but let's get back to.
I was just going to say, let's get back to the Mars
Aries,
energy. Yes.
Well, so in a very basic way, it's strength and power.
Yeah.
And it's determination, which is a form of strength.
Right.
So, I want to do this. I want to start this project. I want to accomplish this objective. Adding some Mars energy can give you that little va-va-boom, that lift, that boost. And it's funny because we've been working with my mom, and her personality. I mean, the dementia is getting a little worse, and she'll sit there and she's almost vacant, and we'll ask her to do something, and she'll say, okay. And then she just sits there. And I've just started trying to use Mars energy to get her to just a little boost to say, okay, let's get up and do that.
Well, I would say that I think it's working, because I would say that she still does have that blank part a little bit. It's less than it was a week ago. We'll say it that way. And but what I see is that she can remember a little bit longer, even if it's just for 2 minutes, than she did a week ago.
And these planetary energies are amazing.
They truly are.
You start to use them very specifically now. If you've been listening to us for a while, we used to use, or we have used, and we still will and can, is what we call life force.
And life, by the way, life force is everywhere, everyone.
But it's not very specific. It's very generic.
Right.
And when you start getting specific, I've been using a lot of Jupiter energy. Patricia's a double Libra, so we've been using Venus energy. Oh my gosh, it's what
pretty
it does.
Amazing.
It really is.
It really
and when you start to learn the subtleties of how it affects you personally, that's what's really exciting.
Well, and I want to jump in and say, every one of us has been programmed that what you and I are talking about right now has no value.
Yes.
And by the way, you want to see me, steam come out of the top of my head or out of my ears. I know that programming is not the truth. It was what we were given, each one of us individually given at the time of our birth. And when you really start to understand that these energies that we're talking about today, we're talking about Mars, has value, then we need to really understand, well, what is that value of Mars? What does it do? Can it work for me, or is this not an energy I should work or use? Is it an energy that only someone that has that in their natal chart, that type of thing?
Well, and I've always been kind of resistant to using Mars energy, even though I have it in my chart.
Okay.
Because there's something about it that says, no, I shouldn't do that. And the truth of it is that you need to find a balance, because Mars energy can very quickly become too much.
Yes.
Too aggressive, too angry,
overwhelming,
overbearing,
yes,
bully.
Yes.
You have to find the balance. Well, how do you find balance? It's with your refined intuition using the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
So just a quote. I was reading about how to motivate yourself, and we're going to talk about that in the subsequent segments. But
okay,
it says motivate. They define motivation as energizing behavior in pursuit of a goal. Well, that's a good definition. Energizing behavior is an energy. What are we talking about? Energy.
yes,
But they'll go on to say, well, do this or think this way, or
right,
force yourself to think this way.
right.
That doesn't work. When you deal with the energy directly, it's so much better.
Exactly. So we are running out of time for this segment. So with that said, in the next segment, we're going to continue to talk about Mars energy and how to use it in the best way. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show, unscripted, with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to continue to talk about Mars energy and how to use it in the best way.
So
Jason, yes.
So when you want to do something, when you have a goal, you have an objective, a project,
sure,
and you just can't get there.
Well, one of the biggest questions that clients ask me is, I just need to motivate myself because I've got laundry and closets and all these things, or, and some people think that kind of stuff is trivial, but when you don't have any clean laundry, I'll say it that way.
Commando.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but yes, in other words, this is an energy that you could use. And so, do we want to show them how to do that real fast?
Well, we're going to do that in the next segment, but
okay,
but let's talk about how you should do it, the best way to do it. Okay. If you go online, they'll say, well, just act as if, which I think is the most stupid advice ever. And here's why. Let me explain why. When you act as if, as intuitives who see energy, perceive energy really well, we see that it doesn't necessarily change the energy. So after a while, as you continue to act as if, what you get better at is you're not changing the energy. You might just get better at acting.
Or lying to yourself.
It's another way of saying that. I mean, actors, the roles that they play on the screen are not who they are in real life.
Correct.
And so if you play a role long enough, pretty soon people see you as that yes. Whatever.
Yes.
We're trying to help you, because here's the most important point.
Okay.
Your real power isn't in your ability to act. Your real power is in expressing who you are authentically in the world. Yes. That's where the power is. That's where you have motivation. Correct. That's where you have knowledge and clarity and intuition about. And correct. so intuition, I need to talk about that just briefly. Intuition is the result of clearing the negative energy around your essence.
Correct.
And intuition comes up naturally because it's natural to human beings.
We are supposed to be able to use it. I'm going to jump in and say we are supposed to be able to even know how to use it innately, but we have been programmed for centuries and lifetime after lifetime that our intuition is not number one. Most people say it's not real. It's just your imagination. Or they will say, the other question I get a lot is, how do I trust my intuition? And the answer is by using the ecosystem approach and removing the negative energies that are on top of your essence. It's unbelievable the truths that you can start to see.
Well, if you're in a scientific community and you say, this doesn't feel right, I think we should do it this way. I mean, they'll look at you funny.
Yes, they will.
You know,
because you didn't follow that formula.
Well, and they want facts and figures. They want data.
Correct.
And intuition is a form of data, but it's not measurable. It's not in a consistent way that quote unquote science can understand. So let's get back to this, okay? When you want to do something, the first thing to do is see what's blocking you.
Yes.
And then remove it, clear it. You know, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate my boredom with doing my taxes, for example.
Okay, that's a good one.
Or my disgust with doing housework, or maybe it's something, my disgust or my fear of asking my girlfriend to marry me because I'm afraid she won't say yes. You know, whatever that is, look at what's blocking you. If it's those things, what you need to do is remove those first. Those are always the most important things to remove. But there are some things that are really deep-seated.
Yes.
And when you have deep-seated fears, when you have a lack of confidence that's deep-seated,
yes,
there are fears, lack of confidence, even depression. You know, some of those things are often very much deep-seated in who you are, and those aren't able to overcome those right away. For example, fear of failure is often very deep-seated.
Well, and I would say that most people that I know with the energy of fear of failure, it was trained in them.
Yes, it was programmed in.
Exactly.
So they're not going to do a couple clearing statements and they're going to be okay.
Well, and a lot of clearing or removing negative energy. Remember, we didn't get in these negative energy positions overnight. It didn't happen an hour ago. What happened? It's happened not only lifetime after lifetime, but we have been programmed to connect with fear and believe that it is the only way we're allowed to see something.
And often that programming is modeled for us as we grow up.
Exactly.
And it takes a while to uncover what it is.
Yes.
We've talked about that in our last show about emotional stories.
Exactly. And I'm going to jump in and say Mars energy. Both my parents were Aries. They were born 3 or 4 days apart. And the most incredible thing was both of them used bully energy because as far as they were concerned, that was the only way to get what they wanted. And so that kind of training, the first time Jason ever said to me after we'd had an argument that I had been being a bully, it crushed me because I remembered very clearly how much my parents both used that energy to manipulate, con, and get what they wanted. And it really struck me very hard. But as I'm looking at the planets now, they both used Mars energy in a very negative way.
So if you're trying to do something and you're trying to accomplish something,
correct.
And we're talking about petty goals. Sometimes it's big goals.
Sure.
You know, finding a partner, creating a business,
buying a house,
that sort of thing.
Yes.
You know, and you're not able to get started or whatever. The first thing you do is find out what's in your way.
Yeah.
And start removing that.
Yes.
And you do that with the ecosystem approach, and we tell you how to do that. You remove those negative energies. And sometimes those things can take years.
Yes.
Because they're deep-seated, like we said.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. This works the first time you do it, and the last time you do it.
That's correct.
You may not perceive it in a quantified way.
Or the way you think it should be.
Yes, exactly.
That's a big deal.
But it always works.
Yes.
And whenever you do start removing it, it works. So you remove what's blocking in your way. And then, well, maybe you need a little boost. Most people will go to some sort of programming where you force yourself, you con yourself, you manipulate yourself.
Sure.
You act as if, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're saying is use a planetary energy. And if you want to get started, Mars energy is one of the best energies to use.
Because it kind of picks you up out of your chair, so to speak. That was a form of a metaphor.
Yes.
Get you off your backside is really what I was trying to say. And it basically says, okay, what do I need to do now? How can I get up and go get what I want, what I need?
What if you have that lull in the middle of the afternoon where you start to get tired?
Yeah.
Mars
don't
energy.
Eat a candy bar.
Don't
Mars.
eat. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, well, it could, instead of using sugar, caffeine, that sort of things that we're addicted to doing, use Mars energy. Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the reason we're having this show today, because that can be so useful.
Exactly.
And start playing around with how it affects you personally.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Because the way it affects you is different than the way it affects me. Correct. And the way it affects my mom is different.
Exactly.
Yes. And knowing your natal chart helps, but it's not necessary.
Yes, but it does help a lot.
Yeah.
I will admit that. So, one more thing. If you use the strategies and techniques that you were trained with, you're going to
call that programming.
That is definitely programming. You're just going to continue to get the same results you have always received.
Well, let's be more specific.
Okay.
Strategies and techniques are programming, and they come from experts that are outside of you, who aren't talking about you personally. They're giving you some sort of generic answer about what to do. What we're suggesting you do is check in with your essence and say, if I'm got this negative energy, if I'm being blocked, what's blocking me? What are the energies that are blocking me?
Right.
And if I can't remove them, all of them right now, which is usually the case, then what energies can I use to help me, support me to get there?
Right.
When you use strategies and techniques, you never work with the energies. And what you're doing is you're pushing aside your essence. Correct. Where all the power is.
Yes.
So it just makes no sense to us whatsoever.
Well, and the other thing is I'm going to say this straight out. Stop giving your power to the strategies and techniques that
the experts that create them.
And the experts that create them. And that includes your parents or whoever, raised you type thing. And understand that you were given everything that you need. Go in here. Everything you need is in here. When you start removing those negative energies that are blocking you from who you are, the most phenomenal things happen, and you can actually feel joy from removing negative energy. Correct?
Yes.
All right. So, in the next segment, we're going to continue the conversation and talk about using Mars energy to motivate yourself instead of common motivation techniques, and why using energy is always better. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show, unscripted, with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia, by the way. And in this segment, we're going to continue the conversation and talk about using Mars energy to motivate yourself instead of common motivational techniques, and why using energy is always better. Well, wait a minute, Jason, why is using energy techniques better?
Because it supports your essence, which is where your power is, where your knowing is, where your true motivation comes from. Your true motivation doesn't come from techniques. If someone says you do this, 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 and this, or think this way, or stop feeling like this.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't change the energy. Your feelings are energy, and they come from a place within you. And if you say, well, I'm not going to feel this way, I'm going to feel this way, you haven't changed the energy. That negative energy that's making you feel
You're programming yourself.
You're programming yourself, and what's happening is that negative energy that says you're not good enough. You can't hide from that. You can't just say, I'm just gonna ignore that, and it won't affect me. It'll affect you, but you just won't know it.
Yes.
And the more you do that programming where you force yourself to do this, or talk yourself into it, or think this way, or feel this way, which is never changing the energy,
right?
It'll just that negative energy that's there won't go away. They'll say, oh, this is great. It's sort of like what were those Home Alone movies, where they left the kid home alone during Christmas
by accident,
and he went crazy in the house. Well, when you don't remove your negative energy, it's like the Home Alone movies where that negative energy is going crazy within you, and all these things are happening, whether it's illness, accidents.
Right. I remember eating ice cream for dinner.
Emotional problems, relationship problems, all those things, because that negative energy is there.
Yes.
We help you start identifying that energy, removing it consistently. And it takes a while. It's taken a while to build up in you. It's going to take a while to remove.
That's correct.
But as you start to remove that, you start to access that part of yourself, which is your essence.
Right.
Some people call it soul. We call it essence. That has great power to say, oh, don't marry this person, marry this person. Or we're going to help. We're going to help you be healthy instead of being sick or having this disease. Cancer, for example, we see cancer is a sickness of your essence. It's your essence is trying to tell you something.
Correct.
That you need to you need to do this, and then all this other negative energy jumps in there and says, okay, we're gonna really screw with you and make your life miserable.
Right.
And then you get sick.
Yes, you do.
And there's no strategy and techniques just allows that negative energy to continue without
to fester
any
and really hurt you.
Yes.
Yes.
So the reason those motivational techniques don't work is because they're not working with the energy, and it's the energy that is the root of the problem.
Correct.
So as you remove the negative energies attached to you, you start to see.
Exactly.
Patricia could see all her life. When she was a little girl, she saw dead people. For a quick way of saying it.
Yeah.
I was always sensitive. I always had these feelings that I knew what people were thinking, but I never trusted it. And it's only when we started using the ecosystem approach that our abilities as intuitive,
for both of us,
have just exploded.
Yeah.
And we continue to grow. So when someone steps on the stage and says, I'm a clairvoyant, intuitive, medium, psychic, what are all those words?
Yeah.
We see that they're not getting rid of the negative energy. They have ability over here, but there's this other negative energy that's
correct.
That's affecting their interpretation, that's affecting their ability to see.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I've seen about people that do have an intuition, I see that most of them are really unhappy.
Yes. And because the negative energy is there,
yes,
and they're using their intuition over here, but they're not using it,
correct.
Sylvia Brown, who used to live close by where we were, said you could never be psychic for yourself, which is a complete negative energy, something that negative energy would say to you. That just tells me that she has lots of negative energy.
Yes.
There. So the motivation techniques don't work with energy. The way you have to motivate yourself is to understand who you are first.
Correct.
Remove the energies, the negative energies that are keeping you from being who you are.
Yes.
And then you'll be motivated naturally. You won't have to motivate yourself ever.
Well, and a really good way to friend, a really good way to learn about who you are is start remembering your story. start remembering, even if you have to write it down. You're not going to get every piece of it. It's okay. And what you do is then when you can see it in writing, one of the most amazing things is when you start putting things down, you start to see how angry you are about this incident that happened or that sort of thing. First thing I would say is clear that anger, get rid of that anger, because it's keeping you from the motivation that you need and want to do. I can't resist your purposes.
The problem is that some people don't get that. So
okay,
when we say your emotional story, you may know that, like for me, my dad was very judgmental and critical about me growing up. I never really understood how I felt about that.
Until
I know I didn't like it,
yeah,
but that wasn't clear enough. So as you start to remove this negative energy, you start to say, "Oh my gosh, it affected my confidence."
Yes, it did.
You know, it affects. I get angry about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I store it in certain places in my body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are the things that as you remove the negative energy, you start to have the perception. You start to know what's going on.
Well, and using that right there, one of the things that I've seen you do is go from having that a lack of confidence, which I really don't see a lot anymore, but that lack of confidence, and I see you take that pause and go, wait a minute, I don't need that anymore. And into the processor it goes. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really, really
well, and
really
we've seen each other change over the 20 years, 25 years we've been together.
Correct.
And it is amazing. And it's just because we're removing that negative energy. But it's not just change. Our refined intuition is growing.
Yes.
And by the way, that's one of the reasons to use the ecosystem approach.
Right there.
You know, right there, you know, we live in an energy world. So if you're using strategies and techniques and the motivational techniques that are out there that
correct
now, and you're being frustrated and say, "Oh, this doesn't seem to work for me."
Yeah.
And people, when they see that, they say, "It must be me. The problem must be me, that I'm not good enough. I can't push myself. I can't drive myself enough." It's not you.
Yes.
It's the technique. Use an energy technique. So what I suggest, if this touches you right now, if you're saying, "Oh my gosh, this is what I need,"
sure,
go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for a free section. It's amazing. You'll get the clearings from each show every week. Listen to our show every week. Make a note of listening to this particular show, and we tell you how to use energy in your life in all these different ways.
Right.
And so let's get back to the motivation techniques.
Okay.
Those don't work. So what do? Well, identify what's in your way, remove it, and then use a planetary energy, because planetary energies are completely in alignment with your essence.
Correct.
They're not blocking your essence. They're giving, pushing your essence aside like programming does.
Correct.
They're supporting your essence, and they're helping you live in an energy world. So you can say, okay, well, should I use Jupiter energy? Should I use Mars energy? Maybe I'll use a little bit of both. And
which is, by the way, if that's what you find for you, go for it.
I've been doing that more and more with my mom, and it works really well.
Exactly.
So I've been using Venus energy, Jupiter energy, because she has a moon in Jupiter, in Sagittarius, and I've been using sun energy.
Oh, and you know that I was really amazed at the different reaction that the sun energy did for her.
Yes.
Well, I mean, she was not doing well. And after he started using the sun energy, I went to say something to her, and she actually had life in her eyes. Not light, but life in her eyes. It was amazing. And ever since then, I see more and more life coming back. By the way, she has been very ill with a bladder infection. I should just say that. And bladder infections.
We thought we were going to lose her.
We really did. So
let's talk about how to clear.
Okay.
And or remove negative energy.
Okay.
And basically, we have a statement that you use, and then we ask that you can sit, stand, walk. We highly suggest you do two things at once. You know, You can do it in the shower. You can do it while you're doing something mindless like the dishes.
Right.
You can do it while you're going for a walk. Driving, commuting is a great time to do clearing.
Yes.
And so when we say and to eliminate, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, just gather up whether it's specific emotions, veils and illusions, barriers,
and throw them in the processor or a garbage can that you put on your left side.
And we have a picture of that. If you sign up for our free section, every newsletter, we have a picture of the processor there.
Correct.
You scroll down and we have clearing statements that you can use.
Yes.
It's all written out for you, what you have to say.
It's actually very easy.
It is very easy. Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for that if you haven't signed up already.
Exactly. And then after that, we're going to activate life force energy. And today we're going to activate Mars energy for everyone as well. So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to remove negative energy so you can motivate yourself and get started on your goals and projects that are stuck or that you're stuck in. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to remove some negative energy so you can motivate yourself and get started on your goals and projects that you're stuck in or are stuck or however it goes for you. So Jason, go ahead.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the numbness I have to my feelings and energies that are blocking me from getting started.
Take a breath. And now take that processor or garbage can and put it on your left side. As you're looking at me, you're thinking I'm doing it on the right. That's because it's a mirror type thing, but put it on your left side. I see that negative energy works better to remove it if you put it to the left. It deems it powerless. Let me say it that way.
And the numbness is the most common thing. People say, well, I don't know what's blocking me.
Yeah, clear numbness. Start with that.
Yeah, clear numbness.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, and to eliminate, we're shortening it up just a little bit, and to eliminate the barriers so I can start to see that Mars energy is aggressive and charges my actions. Nice and easy. Take any energies that are blocking you from Mars energy and throw them away.
And so if you're thinking, well, I can't remember what to say, all this stuff, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. You'll get the newsletter. It's all written out there for you.
Exactly.
So, and to eliminate the barriers so I can see that anyone can use Mars energy to get started and to keep going.
I love that. Nice and easy. Take a breath. That barrier, get rid of that barrier, throw it away. And to eliminate the intense feelings of worry, anxiety, and stress that I have that keeps me from getting started on goals and projects. Right now, get rid of it and blow it away.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that using planetary energies can help me in my daily life.
Yes, take a breath. And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that my Enneagram type gives me clues to choose which planetary energies to use. And we need an example of that. Take a breath.
Well, we have two dogs.
We do.
One of them is an Enneagram 7. The other one is an Enneagram 9.
Yes.
In the morning, our Enneagram 7, her name is Jamie. She gets up and says, "Oh, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go."
Where are we going? Where are we going? Yeah, exactly. That's Jamie.
Ron says, "Are you kidding me? You want me to get up?" He just sits there like, very 9-ish, like I'm tired.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Leave me alone.
I call him Grumpy Pants.
So we should start using Mars energy for him.
We should. Let's see what happens. We'll update that for you. Okay. So go ahead, Jason.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can, we did that. And to eliminate any feelings of fear and terror that I have that always stop me, depress me, or get in my way. And I can use Mars energy to overcome some of those.
Nice and easy. Pick up that depression.
And by the way, we still want you. I'll put it in a clearing statement. And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that I can clear away those things that are blocking me but I can also use planetary energies to give me a boost in the meantime.
Take a breath. Blow it out. And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that Mars energy can become too aggressive and be hurtful so I can use it appropriately. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out.
And well, a good example is that if we give too much Mars energy to Ron
the dog,
he might try and nip at us when we try and get him up in the morning.
Exactly.
So anyways, and to eliminate any feelings of fear, hurt, and shame that I have that stops me and could be overcome with Mars energy.
Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that it's definitely possible to use too much Mars energy. We just talked about that because it can be aggressive or even bully or abusive energy. So if you're using Mars energy and you say something you shouldn't, do yourself a big favor. Clear that something you shouldn't and then back off on using more Mars energy. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see identifying the best planetary energies can be very valuable to me.
Yes, nice and easy. Now, we're going to activate life force. It goes like this. I direct all my resources and all dimensions to activate life force energy, the most powerful energy anyone has access to, but it can also help us see the energies that we need for ourselves starting right now. Nice and easy. Take a breath, pull in that life force energy, and blow out any negative energies that you don't need. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to identify and use planetary energies to support my life.
In my highest and best interest.
Yes.
Nice and easy. Pull it in and blow it out. And to activate life force so I can trust that I have the ability to access and use planetary energies so I can feel or make it feel, have it feel like magic in my life. Pull it in and blow out any negative energies that are blocking you from doing that. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can decide to focus on using energies instead of taking actions and forcing myself to do things, which is strategies and techniques and programming.
Pull it in and blow it out. And the last one, and to activate life force energy so I can activate happiness and hope, clarity, awareness, objectivity, creativity, great health, happiness, love, laughter, joy, fun, and the ability to remember to remove negative energy so I can have all of the things that I need and want in my life. Start out everything being simple, nice and easy. Pull it in and blow it out. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Energy self-sufficiency.
Okay.
Is true self-sufficiency.
Okay.
So we're talking about energy today and using planetary energies, but we live in an area where being self-sufficient is highly prized.
Yes.
People grow their own foods, gardens.
Yes.
Lots of people with generators living off the grid. They want to do it themselves. They don't want to be dependent on any sort of other infrastructure. But the truth is, that's not real independence, because at some point, at the end of the day, you're always left with what? You.
Yeah.
And when you have the ability to go out in the world and say, one of my, the show that I find very interesting is Naked and Afraid. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
And we don't watch it very much because it's in a way it's kind of stupid, but you're out there with nothing, and
you have to figure out how to survive.
And oh, by the way, you know what it's all about? It's all about energy self-sufficiency. That's because correct. The people that do well aren't the people with the most skills, quote unquote. It's the people that have the stuff inside.
Yes.
And people think that you can push yourself and drive yourself. Those kind of people, when you get hungry, you don't have sleep, when you're hurting, those things kind of fly out the window. And if you watch that show, you see those people. Some people crash and burn.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about what real self-sufficiency is.
Okay, good.
And I think, if this appeals to you, if all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, I've been living my life with programming, strategies, and techniques. Experts say this and experts say that, and I don't know which to choose. And you think there's got to be a better way. Hello, this is the better way, the ecosystem approach, because we treat you like the ecosystem that you are, that you're living, breathing ecosystem. And it's fine the way it is. If you uncover, take the toxics away, the negative energies, the bad energies, then you can thrive.
Yes.
And we tell you how to do that. And we just, using planetary energies is just one way to do that.
Exactly.
So if this appeals to you, if this touches you, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. Listen to our show every week. We tell you how to use these energies. We tell you from this perspective. Every week we help you do removing negative energies at this last segment, like we did just now.
Right.
And you'll be on your way. We have a lot of content on our website also that's free, that you can utilize.
Absolutely. So Jason, what about our Facebook page?
Our Facebook page address is theecosystemapproach.org. We have all of our shows there. They're posted as videos. Correct. And if you're out there taking a look, please like us. We appreciate those likes.
Exactly. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.